Hey, Margo.
Hello, Patricia. How are you doing? I see your thumbs up. Does that mean you can hear me? All right. If at any point you can't hear me, do the thumbs down, okay? Okay? Okay. Well, I'm really glad to be here. As Patricia shared, we made a connection on Facebook. She made a post and I posted to her post, and that was a true story. When my son was a little bitty baby, I got really, really sick to the point of death, and it was a very horrible experience that lasted for months. But, I don't know how or why, I just got in a place of real faith, and it was almost like a turning point in my life where I said, if this whole God thing is real, if God is real, then God can heal. And that just came to my mind just now. I don't think I've ever said that before, quite like that. I mean, I didn't say that little poem back then, but back then it was like, you know what? If God is real, then I'm just going to believe that He's going to help me out of this situation that I'm in, this horrible, horrible situation. And Patricia talked a lot tonight about our lives and success and where we want to go, being a process. And it's so true. We so often in our culture, we want everything instantaneously, and we've learned that through, the drive-through windows and the Starbucks coffee house, and everywhere we go, it's instant, instant, instant. We want it right now. But sometimes faith doesn't work like that. Sometimes it is, something that you have to go through, and it's a process. And I find it's the same thing with success. And, there's a lot of different definitions of success. Some people think success, for whatever reason, they have this idea that $1 million is success. Today, $1 million really won't get you very far, but a lot of people think $1 million is success. If I make $1 million, I'm successful. Or if I reach six figures they never say sales or net income. They never do tell you that. They just say you can make six figures. Well, is that sales or net income? Okay, who knows, right? Because they don't tell us. But maybe some people think making six figures or $100,000 in sales or in net income is success. Some people think it's $1 million. Some people think it's living a certain lifestyle. So if you took 100 people from 100 different walks of life and 100 different cultures, you'd find 100 different definitions of what success is. And to me, I think success is really simple. I think success is when you are willing and able, and we are able if we're willing, to connect with Source. That's the first step to success. And then I believe success is recognizing what your unique calling is and then moving on that. So, a lot of people would say, well, how do I do that? I know Patricia talked a lot about doing what you're passionate about. I'm a business coach, a business and lifestyle designer, and I talk to business owners all over the country and even all over the world. And one thing that I see is a lot of really smart, really intelligent people who are often good at a lot of things. Some of us are good at writing, we're good at speaking, we're good at connecting, communicating. We might be good at cooking, we might be good at sewing, we might be good at decorating and crafts. We might be good at marketing, or we might be a techie type. And we might find that we're good at many, many things, and we enjoy doing many things. So we get confused about what our calling should be. There's a couple of things I know about our calling. I don't know necessarily that somebody would be called to be in a particular career field. I think a calling goes deeper than that. I'm saying that you can be in a particular career field doing exactly what you're supposed to do, but I think your calling goes deeper than I'm supposed to be a teacher, I'm supposed to be a plumber, I'm supposed to be a lawyer. I think the calling is so deep that there are actually many ways that you could express and connect with others through that calling. So, for example, myself, I'm good at a lot of different things. I have a lot of different talents, a lot of different skills. But that doesn't mean I'm passionate about all those things just because I'm good at a lot of different things. And we're all good at many, many things. I think it's important to see where your passion, what you love to do, meets up with what you're pretty darn good at and what you naturally can do well, and also where if you have the passion, like Patricia said, then you're going to be motivated to learn more in that area. But getting back to what I was saying, that there are a lot of ways that we can express our calling. So years ago, I used to do a lot, I still do a lot of journaling. I always journal, I always write, I always reflect and look at myself. I try to be somebody who's very self-aware, aware of myself, aware of my behavior, aware of my communication, aware of my effect on other people. I think it's really important. And by the way, that's the one thing that successful people have in common, is that very awake, aware, conscious, and aware of their behavior and how it affects others. But that's another story. But years ago, I was reading a book by, I think it was by Dale Carnegie, and I was doing some reflective work through the book and writing down, and this was a lot of years ago. My kids are all in their 20s, and I think they were babies at the time. And this book was really inviting me to get to the very root of who I am as a person and what I really feel that I am called to do as a human being. And I did the work, and it took quite a while, a lot of reflecting. And what I came to find out is that I am a soul, I am in the world to be an influencer, a help, a motivator, and an inspirer of other people, someone who helps other people see and recognize their gifts, their opportunities. And I'm someone who helps people get unstuck. And I realized that at the very root of that, I was an inspiring teacher. So with that said, okay, maybe I thought I was supposed to be a speaker or a lawyer or a school teacher, okay? It doesn't matter. Any one of those things. Let's say I thought I was supposed to be one of those things. It's our responsibility to go even deeper. If you think you're supposed to be a teacher, if you think you're supposed to be an internet marketer, if you think you're supposed to be a speaker or a trainer, whatever, school teacher, doesn't matter. Go a little bit deeper and see what the core is. Who are you at your core? Are you an influencer? Are you an inspirer? Are you a helper? Are you somebody who's really good at problem solving? Are you somebody who helps bridge the gap? Who helps bring people together? You know, at your very core, who are you? And that's really where your gift and your calling starts. And then, because you're talented in many areas, you could actually express that calling in a number of ways. And you see that all the time. Very successful people sometimes switch careers midlife. They might switch careers 10 times in one lifetime and find themselves very happy in each and every career field because they're still moving and functioning out of that root calling. So for me, my root calling is to be an inspirational teacher who helps others see their passion, their gifts, and their calling. So I can do that in a number of ways. I mean, there's so many ways that I could express that. There's so many career fields where I can express that. So that's kind of where I see it, as God gives us the gifts, or you can call God the universe if you want, or the higher power. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's up to you and your beliefs. I call that God. It's okay, whatever you decide to call it. But I see it as God gives you the calling. The deep root core calling. Like for me, it's an inspirational teacher and inspirational motivator. Someone who helps other people see their gifts and calling. God gives you that. And then the neat part is then you're left with freedom to choose however you would like to express that unique gift and calling. So it's so cool. We get this gift and calling from God, And then we get to express it in any way that we would like, as long as, like Patricia said earlier, we're not hurting anybody. We don't want to go around hurting people, do we, Patricia? But, you know, that's such a liberty and such a freedom. And that's exactly why I bet all of you have experienced this, okay? 2 scenarios. Okay, scenario A, you go into a grocery store or a coffee shop, you meet up with a clerk who's just, their energy's just not there. They're not connecting with others. They really can care less about you or your experience or your connection with them. And you are not any better off as a human being because you stepped into their space. You're no better off. And then the next scenario is a time when you go into a coffee shop or a grocery store and you meet a clerk. They're getting about the same pay, doing just about the same type job. But this clerk, wow, you can sense their spirit. You can sense their happiness. They're making a connection with you. They're all about you and not all about them. How are you doing today? Well, I'm so glad you came in. So how's your day going? And they're really wanting to make that connection, and their energy is true and real and aligned with who they are at their core. That person is functioning out of their gifts, and that person is a success. So and I'm not saying we shouldn't want to make money. I want to make money. We enjoy money. Money gives us lots of choices. Let's face it. But regardless of whether you're making a lot of money, you can totally be successful in living your calling right now. Whether you are working at the law offices and a partner in a law firm or working at the local grocery store. It doesn't matter. You can still function in that calling, which is, you'll have to dig and discover what that calling is. That's your responsibility. And I did the digging, and for me, I know my calling is an inspirational teacher. Who connects people with their true gifts and with Source. So I can do that if I'm cleaning a toilet bowl with a toilet brush. I can do that no matter where I am, and I can be happy. And if I lived in a soup can, a tomato soup can, I could still be happy. You see, because our spirit is not dependent on outward circumstances. Ironically, when you really get that, and you're really of that mindset, and you're not waiting for some outward circumstances to make you happy and make you feel connected and make you know that you're successful, ironically, that's the time when prosperity starts to actually just flow into your life. Somebody might buy you some lunch that you didn't expect. A friend says, hey, I'm going to fill up your gas tank today. You find a penny or a dime on the floor. That's all prosperity. That's all wealth coming towards you. I remember one time I found a crinkled up $100 bill in the change coin machine when I was dumping off all my coins. Money gravitates to me. Jobs gravitate to me. Clients gravitate to me. Wealth gravitates to me. Wonderful people like Patricia, she's part of my wealth gravitational field. She came to me. And this is what's so ironic is, don't wait until you're at a place where you're defining success externally and waiting for that magic number, $100,000 a year, $1 million a year, whatever, in order for you to feel like you're a success and to feel happy. It's actually the other way around. It starts with knowing what your calling is, the core calling, which goes beyond your occupation. Deciding that you have many options for expressing it, so it doesn't matter. Don't get tripped up. Am I supposed to be a teacher? Am I supposed to be a doctor? Am I supposed to be, a Pied Piper? Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Find out what that deeper calling is. Maybe it's to be a teacher. Maybe it's to be a helper. Maybe it's to be a repairer of the breach. Whatever it is. Find out what it is and just find it out by just asking yourself some simple questions. What in my heart of hearts do I love to do for others? Outside of external things. And you'll find out what your calling is. Just reflect and take time and get still and spend a lot of time, quiet time. Go buy a coffee at the local Hilton hotel and sit by their pool. They'll let you if you buy a coffee and just sit there at the pool and reflect and Patricia shared, journaling is so very important, because when we write, we actually allow our subconscious brain to take over, our auto mechanism, and to actually live out the truths that we write down on paper. It's really magical, but that's a whole nother topic. But just know that success, you already have a calling given to you, a way for you to connect with people and make their lives better. There are many ways that you can express that very calling. So you don't have to get tripped up in, am I doing the exact right thing? It doesn't work that way. So whatever you're doing, do it heartily. Do it with grace. Do it with pizzazz, and be you, totally. Be totally you. Have your own voice. Don't try to be Patricia. Don't try to be Margo. Don't try to be anybody else. Be yourself. Because there's only one fingerprint of you, and that's intentional. We need you. So be you fully. Find your voice. Who are you? And it doesn't matter. I mean, you are who you are, and you're special. I'm 49 years old. I don't let that stop me from getting on a webcam and all this other stuff. Who cares? I'm me. I can only be me. And so, follow your path to look for ways to express that calling. And when you get in that place where you're thankful for your calling and you're always looking for people to connect with and ways to use your calling, opportunities, I should say, when you're able to recognize your opportunities and just walk in your calling, it's amazing how that is the point when wealth starts gravitating to you naturally. You don't even have to try, because you're in a space of thankfulness. You're in a space of recognizing why you're here, and it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. And ironically, suddenly you're in a place of very high energy and very positive energy, and that's the force field where things magically happen. I don't know, it's just a magical thing. And when you get to that place, even though you're finally content and you're finally happy and you finally don't need money and wealth and all those things to make you happy, that's when the money and the wealth starts really pouring in, and all the little instances of abundance, like I shared, when you find $1 on the ground, or $100 bill, or when somebody takes you to I've been taken to so many glamorous, gorgeous restaurants. I just got back from seeing the final Space Shuttle Atlantis launch. I had like 5 days on the condo in Cocoa Beach, in a condo. I didn't pay for a dime of it. It was a gift. That's abundance. Those are the kinds of things that begin to happen in your life, that you begin to attract into your life because you're an attractive person. And being an attractive person is not about getting your nose done or your eyes done, although you can do that if you want. That's fine. But being an attractive person is really about having a high energy spirit that is thankful and that lives on purpose regardless of the outside circumstances. So that's all I'm going to say. I could go on and on. If I were on another one of Patricia's shows, I'd probably talk to you about two things. One, and maybe in the future I can do this, I'd talk to you about creating your own vision map. That's when you start really planting down the actual things you want to do in your life. Like maybe you want to put up a website or build a blog or create an organization, or maybe you want to write a book. Okay, I can bring you through this really cool vision map to help you to design that. The other thing I would talk to you about, if we had loads and loads and loads of time, and if Patricia and I were sitting here together with you and we had munchies and cocktails or lemonade, whatever, I could go on and talk to you about your mindset and how to reframe and shift your thinking so that you can always walk in power. And as a matter of fact, Patricia, if this is okay with you, give me a big shake of the head. I want to give everybody a gift, if that's okay with you. It's kind of like a gift from me and you. I have a wonderful workbook that I put together. I don't even know how many pages it is. It's probably about 10 pages. And it's a reframing workbook. It's a workbook that helps you to look at your thoughts, look at your words, the things you're thinking, the things you're saying to yourself. It also helps you to look at your beliefs behind those words and thoughts. And it helps you to look at the emotions that you tend to pull into your life and entertain, if you will. See, we have a choice. We don't have to entertain just any old thing. I know sometimes we get sad and things like that, and that's okay, but overall, sometimes we get in some bad habits of the way we think, the way we let our emotions just unravel for no reason, the drama sometimes we put in our lives here and there, not always, but sometimes. But even beyond that, even people who are what I would consider successful, and this happens to me too, sometimes you still struggle with some thoughts that are there, that are deep, maybe some things that took root when you were a little child, or maybe somewhere in your career something happened or something was said or you believed something about yourself for whatever reason. And these thoughts, these beliefs that are tied to emotions tend to drive your behavior, sometimes causing you to be stuck in inaction. Because look, once I knew what my calling was, I was ready to take action. I didn't want to sit around and know what my calling was. I wanted to get out there, meet people, connect with people, speak, teach. I wanted to make money. I wanted to go on trips and do fun stuff too. So our thoughts and our belief systems can really keep us from taking the actions that we need to take in our lives, or taking the right actions. Sometimes they cause us to take the wrong actions. And it's not always wrong actions like, getting drunk on a Friday night and, smoking a pack of Marlboro. Sometimes wrong actions are just going in a direction maybe in your business that you're not supposed to go because it's really a distraction. Or because you're afraid, there's a fear behind there keeping you from going and doing the act or the task or the action that you really need to be doing at that time. So taking wrong actions doesn't necessarily mean the action you're taking is a naughty action or a bad action. It could be a really good action. It's just not what you're supposed to be doing at the time. It's a distraction. So, with that said, this reframing workbook will help you just kind of get the thinking right first. And if you're not thinking right, it's going to help you bring to the surface some of the thoughts that are really getting in your way and help you to reframe those. So I want to give that booklet to you. And people pay me hundreds and hundreds of dollars to go to my class on reframing for me to actually sit in a classroom all day long and help them to do this work. So I'm going to give you the workbook. It's just going to be the workbook. It's somewhat self-explanatory. Of course, you won't have me there with you, but you can always call me or email me and have that happen too if you want. But I think this workbook, you'll find it very, very useful. So go to my website, which is margodegange.com, and that's MARGODEG, a girl, ANGE, margodegange.com. And I want you to sign up for my list. When you sign up, you're signing up for my Go Build a Biz 12-step system little report I'll send you. And then when you do that, so I'll know you saw Patricia's video, I want you to email me at margo@margodegange.com and say, Margo, send me that book. Send me that little workbook on reframing. So I want you to go first to margodegange.com, sign up for my mailing list so that I can get you on my list and start communicating with you weekly and giving you very powerful messages, some on audio, some on video, some in written form. And then you'll get my Go Build a Biz stuff too, which will help you if you decide to at some point do a business or if you're already in a business. After you sign up there, I just want you to shoot me an email at margo@margodegange.com and say, hey Margo, send me that reframing book, because I don't just send that book to anybody. It is a book that people pay for in the class, so I want you to be sure and ask for it. So that's it for today. Patricia, I'm going to turn it over to you now. So goodbye, everybody. I enjoyed speaking with you, and you're really, really fortunate and blessed to be connected with Patricia. And by the way, I meant to tell you, I thought about this yesterday. I wanted to tell everybody what the word blessed means, Patricia. What do you think about that? The word blessed means happy and to be envied. Isn't that wonderful? So when we're blessed, we're happy people, and we're the kind of people that when others look at us, they say, I want my life to look like that too. It's not a jealousy thing, you know. It's not that dark side. It means happy and to be envied. So you're a happy person who walks through life in such a way where others say, you know, I want my life to look like that too. So I want everybody to be blessed tonight. And Patricia, thanks for having me join you.
Oh, my friends, how incredible was Margo? Let's hear an applause for Margo, because she was incredible. I swear, when I met Margo, it was really incredible.